Hey, listen, I am excited that you took some time out to watch a very important webinar, video webinar titled The Liability Responsible for People Sleeping on Network Marketing. A little background about myself is that I was in network marketing for years until I transitioned over into working at the Purpose Development Institute full time, becoming the CEO of the Purpose Development Institute full time. And I was on a mission. I was on a mission to figure out, what made people do what they do, what made people not being able to plug into their highest growth potential. Because being in the network marketing business, I understand the importance of being able to work with people in that capacity. In fact, and one of the things that we always used to say about network marketing is that it's just personal development with a compensation plan. Well, it's more than just that, because it's also become a revolving door where people come, they stay for a little while, and then they leave. And the reason why I wanted to put this presentation together, because I wanted to compile my experience as a network marketer and my experience as the CEO, as a researcher, and my wife as a researcher in purpose development, to expose a very important liability that you as a network marketer need to be responsible for. You need to be aware of this liability. So before you turn this video off, this is going to be one of the most important webinars, video webinars, that you will ever look at. The future of your business is dependent upon what you're going to learn in this webinar. So you need to make sure you pass this webinar to everybody in your organization, even to your leaders, because your leaders don't know what I'm going to talk about in this webinar, but your leaders need to know, because they can't work with you if they don't know what they need to know in regards to what you're going to discover in regards to this liability. So let's go ahead and unpack that. Let's talk a little bit about who we are, but that's not the reason why we're here. The reason why we're here is to talk about what you can do. All right. We're the co-founders of the Purpose Development Institute here in the Atlanta, GA. We are a think tank with over 30 years and well over 20,000 hours of searching why people do what they do. We always talk about the why in network marketing, but we're going to talk about why people do what they do. We put a lot of time and money. We spend tens of thousands of dollars, in our research to figure out what this why, so that we can build a stronger case for purpose development. We understand personal development, but there's a big difference between personal development and purpose development, and you're going to see that in this presentation. So we created the PDI Smart Model to explain how network marketers are sleeping on their growth potential. We have a lot of great things in network marketing. I was involved in personal development, reading good books. You're hanging around good people, making a lot of money. All right. But people are still sleeping on their growth potential. We go to big meetings, we hop on conference calls, we go to weekly events, and we talk a lot about personal development. But there's a very important liability that we overlook in network marketing, and you're going to see that in this presentation. So we came up with what we call the PDI Smart Model, so that now people can make smart decisions about their business, and that's where you are. You want to make smarter decisions. You want to work smart, not hard. And we found out that when people don't understand this, how to integrate this model into their business, they work hard. They work hard in their business, and how hard it is to build a network marketing business. By the time you think you got a good recruit, then all of a sudden that one go flaky. They go in the witness protection program. Then you got to go out there and you got to hustle to find more people. So this is a hustle business. All right. It's a hustle business. It is a grind. I'm just going to be transparent with you. I know I've done it. I've built teams in several different businesses. It is a grind. People say, well, it's not going to take you that much time. Yes, it is a grind. And you need to be able to work smart and not hard. See, here's what I found out. Being a network marketer and being the co-founder of the Purpose Development Institute with my business partner, Dr. Lilly, I found out that we've been working with an inefficient model in network marketing. The model that we've been using. Personal development is great, but personal development alone is an inefficient model. That's the reason why you have to incorporate purpose development into your business as well. You have to be able to integrate this model. So our research identified recurring themes that exposes the role of purpose in helping people grow from challenges in the human experience. See, here's the deal. When people join your business, they have all these great dreams. Everybody say, well, find your why, and finding your why is great, but that's not going to be the main thing that's going to keep people in the business, because there are a lot of people that found their why. They knew what their why was, but guess what? They still went out the door. All right. So we can't just put all our eggs in the Y basket. And that's what many people are doing in network marketing. You're putting all your eggs in the Y basket. And that's dangerous. That's not the place where you want to be. You want to make sure that you can understand what it's going to take to be able to integrate this model into your business, because this model is going to be extremely important. All right. So we did a research. We did a research on, why people need to grow, how they grow. We had research participants at the doctoral level. All right. People that participated in our research from all across the country. And we wanted to discover the phenomenon. And I'm going to tell you right now, the same phenomenon that we discovered with our research participants are the same phenomenons that you deal with. The recurring themes that we found and discovered in our research participants are the same recurring themes that's in your business. So do you think it's important for you to know what these recurring themes are? Yes, it's important, because they're responsible for how people grow in your business. So we made it easy. All right. There's a lot of science behind purpose development, a lot of data we collected to create the analytics that we have, but we made it easy for you. We don't want to make this complicated. So each theme is described as the 4 purpose development checkpoints, identified by the 4 colors of the triangle. So all you got to do is remember the colors of the triangle. All right. What those colors represent. And that's what we're going to talk about in this presentation, because those colors represent the liability that must be addressed in your business. Why continue to just bring on all these people? Go get more people. They say the answer is recruiting. Recruiting is the lifeblood of your people. Why recruit all these people and you're working with an inefficient model? You're still working with an inefficient model in your business. So it's time to work with a model that's going to be more efficient. All right. So now you got to understand what those checkpoints are. All right. The checkpoints are critical. So when people have a weak command for the 4 checkpoints, they would struggle to exercise their growth potential to be the best version of themselves. And that's what we want in our business. You want the studs in your business. Those who are every day, they wake up and they want to be the best, all throughout the day, 24 hours a day. That's what you want. You want more studs in your business. Okay. Well, guess what? People are struggling. They're struggling to exercise their growth potential. Even with personal development, they're still struggling. And that's what I want to show you in this presentation. I'm going to show you why they still struggling. All right. Why they still struggling even with personal development. Okay. And when they struggle, they still struggling to be the better version of themselves. Shoot. I mean, when we look at some of our leaders, we can see how some of our leaders are missing the mark when it comes to being a better version of themselves. They might be making a lot of money, but they still not the best version of themselves, because there's so much underhanded things that are done in network marketing that leave a bad taste in people's mouth, coming from the top, coming from organizations, coming from people that are making a lot of money. So even with personal development, we still have this kind of climate in network marketing. This is why people are going to sleep. This is why people are sleeping on network marketing opportunities. You're trying to chase people who are asleep. You're bringing people in your business that are asleep. So your question is, how do you wake them up? How do you start working smart to wake these people up? So I'm sure that you're familiar with this guy, Stephen Covey. All right. It's an important statement that he said. He said, we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So now let's start with that thought. Let's unpack that a little bit. Every person that you bring into your business, just because they say that they have a strong why, doesn't mean that the human experience is going to stop. The human experience will consist of highs and lows. And typically what happens in network marketing, when people hit the low spots, they go into the witness protection program. And that make it harder for you to build your business. Wow. Do you want to continue to travel down that path, being an organization, and that's all that you're doing? You're bringing on more people who don't understand how to make the human experience work for them. All right. That's not working smart. So without purpose development, the human experience will turn into a human experiment to find the meaning of life. So here's the deal. People want to find meaning at the end of the day. They want to find meaning in their business. They want to find meaning in their family. They want to find meaning in their work. And when they can't find meaning, then they're going to experiment with something else. They'll jump from this company to the next company, from this relationship to the next relationship. So without purpose development, that's the risk that you have to undergo. All right. It's a big risk. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're able to incorporate purpose development in building your business. If you're going to be in this business, Let's work smart. Let's not work hard. All right. So now you got to prepare people for the human experience. See, the problem in network marketing is that we haven't properly prepared people for the human experience. We tell them that they can have an experience. We put the people that are making the most money on the stage and they tell the story and all this kind of stuff, and they come to the big events, to have this experience. You got to get to the big event. It's going to be an experience like you never had in your life. We bring them to the mountaintop, but we can't live on the mountaintop. You got to go back down in the valley of the human experience. So you need a mechanism that's going to work in the valley of the human experience. They're going to need their growth potential. When they come to the big event, they'll need their growth potential. But when they leave the big event and go into the valley of the human experience, that's when they need their growth potential. That's when they need to understand how to make meaning in life so that now then turn into a human experiment for them. Objectives that we're going to be discussing. Number 1, identify the liability responsible for undermining growth potential. Number 2, connect the checkpoints to the liabilities. Number 3, activate the purpose business to eliminate the liability. So 3 things has to happen here. We have to identify the liability, connect the checkpoints, and then activate the purpose business. Okay. If you're going to build a prosperous business, this is what you have to do. Identify the liability, connect the checkpoints, and then activate the purpose business. That's why I'm here. All right. So let's unpack the liability. In spite of what you're selling, you're in the people business. Very simple. It doesn't matter whether you're selling lotions, potions, soap, travel plans, legal plans, whatever plan that you're selling, you're still in the people business. So there's some things you need to know about the people business that they don't teach you in personal development. All right. So if you want to get the most out of the people business, you must embrace what is known in purpose development as the source root analysis. See, we're the only company in the world that talk about the source root analysis. We came up with that term. All right. The source root analysis. All right. This is important for you getting the most out of people in your business, because this is where you're struggling at. You're struggling because you have to fight against the human experience and your opportunity. Come on. That's a losing battle if you don't have purpose development. So we coined the definition. It's a detailed analysis of the Hebrew letters to identify the codes for extracting purpose out of the human experience. This is where you want people to be in your business. You want them to be able to get purpose out of the human experience, because life is not going to stop for them. They might have a strong personal why, but things are still going to happen. They're going to get rejected. People want to say, no, get that away from me. I don't want that. I don't want to be a part of your business. And if they don't know how to be highly developed in purpose, understand how to activate their growth potential, then all of this stuff is going to be hurtful in the human experience. See the stuff that the rejection comes from the human experience. We don't get rejection at the big event. We get rejection in the human experience. Rejection comes, picking up the phone call, calling a bunch of people, going out to the marketplace, talking to a lot of people, to get people in your business, being convicted to bring people to meeting. You got to be able to extract the codes of purpose. All right. There are codes that you can extract, and their codes come from the Hebrew letters because it applies to every person. The ancient wisdom reveals that the Hebrew letters are codes of purpose that tells the story of man's journey on the earth. So it gives us a blueprint that we can work from to help us navigate the human experience. But without this blueprint, we can't navigate. So let's look at the first letter that's going to help us navigate. It's called the letter Hey. It's used to reveal the liability responsible for people's poor response to your messages or poor response to personal development. All right. People have poor responses. See, we have a message in network marketing. All right. And then we try to use personal development to support that message. That message is you're going to have financial freedom. That's the message that we're having. All right. You're going to have financial freedom. And people are not responding at the high level for financial freedom. You know why? Because there's a liability there. All right. So the fifth letter of the Hebrew alphabet that uses the thought, speech, and actions to expose the personal growth gap. And that's what this letter exposed, this fifth letter of the Hebrew alphabet. See that gap right there? That's called the personal growth gap. Even though we have personal development, but we have this gap, personal development doesn't close this gap. Purpose development closes this gap. If you want to know the difference between personal development and purpose development, you need to understand this gap. This is the liability. This is the reason why you have people reading a bunch of good books and they still quit the business. All right. Do they learn some great things? Yes, they learn great things in network marketing, but it's still not enough to keep them in the business. You want to make sure that you can give them an opportunity to sustain their conviction and motivation over a long period of time by closing this gap. See, this gap is where the human experience occurs. This gap is where rejection occurs. This gap is where failure occurs. This gap is where I don't feel like getting out of bed occurs. All right. Everything that's negative that can happen to a person occurs in that gap. So as a leader, we have to understand, how do we close that gap? They don't teach this in network marketing. They don't teach this in personal development. We teach it here at the Purpose Development Institute. That's the reason why you need to have a Purpose Development Institute as your partner. Why are you going to build this business without having the PDI as your partner? All right. We're the experts in closing that gap. That's the reason why you're watching this presentation. So let's unpack this gap, this letter here. The top of the letter represents our thoughts, and our thoughts are constant. We have constant thoughts. It's hard to stop thinking. Thoughts are flowing constantly. Then we have our speech on the vertical line. All right. Speech represents up and down. All right. Meaning that sometimes we talk too much. Sometimes we're not talking enough. All right. Speech has volume. You see, that's what that represents. And then we have our actions. And as you can see, the actions are disconnected. So here's what happens in network marketing. You have people say, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to tear this world upside down in my business. That's what they said. That's what they're thinking. And that's what they said. But they don't take into account that their actions are disconnected from what they just thought and what they just said. I'm going to say it again. They come into your business, they're excited. And they say, you know what? I am going to do this for my family. That's what they're thinking. And that's what they are saying. But their actions are disconnected from that because of the gap. The gap is the liability. All right. They don't take into account for that gap. Personal development doesn't close that gap. Purpose development closes that gap. So if you want to know the difference, all right, we got the homework, we got the receipts, we got the all the research, we got the data, all right, to show you how purpose development closes that gap. It closes the gap between what you're thinking, speaking, and what you actually do. You want doers in your business. You don't want people to come in and all they're talking about is what they're gonna do. You want people that's going out there doing the deal, doing the business every day. Every day they wake up, in spite of the challenges and the things that they have to go through, in spite the human experience. They're out there doing the business. They're making the phone call. They're bringing people to the meeting. They don't care about the rejections. Yes, they're going through the numbers, but they looking way beyond the numbers. All right. They're looking to purpose. Purpose is driving them. Purpose development, meaningful excellence is driving them to work their business and do what they need to do. So speakers motivate to close the gap. When you go to big events, you have speakers. Who are the speakers, man? We'll put all the big speakers on the stage, all right, to help close the gap. Preachers preach to close the gap. Coaches offer accountability to close the gap. Life coaches. All right, let me tell you something about life coaches. Life coaches cannot close this gap. Preachers don't know how to close this gap. And motivational speakers don't know how to close this gap. The only way you can close this gap is that you have to understand the 4 purpose development checkpoints. See, if you have a weak command for purpose development, you can't close the gap. So there's always going to be a personal growth gap there that is going to work against your business. So the problem that we have in our country is that we have speakers, preachers, and coaches that fail to lean into a new level of genius for closing the personal growth gap. We have all these people in our organization. We bring people in, we bring speakers and coaches and preachers in, but they don't have the understanding of how to lean into a different level of genius. We keep leaning into the same book saying the same thing. All right, same personal development that we've been doing for years. And don't get me wrong, those things are great. I'm not knocking the personal development that we were involved in. I was there. It helped me to a certain degree, but I kept saying there's something missing. I'm bringing in all these people in my business, but something is still missing. Is it the compensation plan? Is it the opportunity that I'm that I'm presenting? Is it my leadership? I kept thinking about everything that everybody else think about. No, it's none of those things. It's because we don't know how to close the gap. That's why we have a country full of individuals with great intentions, but weak growth potential to carry out what they are thinking and speaking. And that's what you have in your business. You're bringing on a lot of people, and this is what they have: great intentions. Everybody come to your business, man, give them an A for their great intentions. But this is where they are. They have weak growth potential, all right, to carry out what they are thinking and speaking. See, purpose development is the resource to help you with that. That's the reason why you need to hire a coach or become a coach, a certified purpose development coach. I didn't say nothing about no life coach. I didn't say anything about a John Maxwell coach, because we train John Maxwell coaches as well. That's not what I'm talking about. I said a certified purpose development coach. They are the only ones that's skilled in closing the gap. All right, so the checkpoints provide the genius for closing the personal growth gap. And you can see it right here on the screen. All right, now we're going to talk about that genius. We're going to talk about those 4 purpose development checkpoints so that now you can have a strong command for the 4 purpose development checkpoints. Why is that important? Because you're going to be able to close the personal growth gap. All right, so to help people show up to be their best, you must know their position on all 4 checkpoints. So you got people on the stage that don't know the position. Number one, their position on the checkpoints, and they don't know the position of the people that they're trying to bring into their business. They don't know their position on the checkpoints. All right. So checkpoint 1, let's talk about positioning. Checkpoint 1, people must have a clear path for rebuilding and reconstruction relationship between who they are and their environment. So question, what do you have in your business? What mechanism are you using? All right, to rebuild the reconstruction relationship in your business, between who that person is and what their environment that they have to contend with. If you don't have a mechanism in there, then guess what? They're going to sleep on network marketing. They're going to sleep on the opportunity that you are bringing to them. So checkpoint 1 is critical. Checkpoint 2, people must have skills to reverse the effects of PDD. Be honest with yourself. What skills do people have in reversing the effects of PDD in your organization? None. This is the first time you ever heard of it. We're the only company that deals with that. All right. PDD is wreaking havoc in network marketing because people don't know how to reverse the effects of PDD. Personal development does not reverse the effects of PDD. Purpose development reverse the effects. And it's not just a matter of syntax. It's not just a matter of language. Okay. That's not, no, we got the receipts to show that it's not a matter of language. It's not just us just swapping some stuff out for the language. We got the data, the analytics to prove that purpose development is different than personal development. All right. Because you don't hear anybody on the stage talking about PDD. All right. But over here in our camp, you're going to hear much the conversations about PDD. All right. Checkpoint 3. People must have a blueprint for cracking the master purpose code. What blueprint are you using for that? You want people to show up to be the best, but what blueprint do you have, that's going to help them understand how to crack the master purpose code? Here's the deal. Every person you recruit, they have the ability to crack the master purpose code. But if you don't know how to crack that code, you're going to end up trying to crack the whip to get them to be the best. And you don't have to do that. You have a choice to either work hard or to work smart. I like working smart. That's why we call this the PDI SMART model, because now you're going to be able to make smart decisions based on the 4 checkpoints that we're talking about. Number 4, people must develop the quality to sustain a strong sense of purpose in the human experience. What mechanism do you have for that in your organization? To sustain that strong sense of purpose after they leave the big event. What you got to have a mechanism for that. What mechanism are you using? Is it just a good book? You get on a conference call? What mechanism? All right. This is the work that they have to do outside the big event, work that they have to do outside personal development. All right. It's called purpose development, which is extremely important. Different beasts here that we're talking about. So the people business, which you are in, requires developing skills for the purpose business. So it doesn't matter, what you're selling: lotions, potions, soap, legal plans, travel plans. You're in the purpose business. So you can help people rebuild the structural integrity of purpose and close that gap. All right. That's what happens in the personal business, the purpose business. You're in the business of rebuilding something. You're in the business of closing. All right. I'm gonna say it again. You're in the rebuilding business and you're in the closing business. All right. You rebuild the structural integrity of purpose and you close the gap. That's how you build a big business. That's how you build a big team. We're building a team here at the Purpose Development Institute. Guess what we're doing? We rebuilding the structural integrity of purpose and we're closing the gap. That's what this is about. Close the gap, rebuild, close the gap. All right. So let's talk about the purpose business. It's the science of discovering purpose beyond what people do for a living. So the PDI SMART model can be fully integrated into the human experience. This is what purpose development is all about. All right. We are the experts in integrating that model. That's the reason why you need to hire us as a coach. You need to hire our team as a coach. Hire purpose development, bring purpose development resources into your organization. All right. Because we're the only ones that know how to fully integrate this model into the human experience. You're not into the business, but into the human experience. If we can rectify some things in the human experience, it's going to align your business to explode. And that's what we are doing here at the PDI. So the purpose development is that science. That is the science. That's why I said this is more than just personal development. Personal development don't reveal this science beyond what people do for a living. Purpose development reveals that science. It is the ability to rebuild the structural integrity of purpose to help people reach their highest growth potential. Each checkpoint that you see on the screen, the yellow, the green, the orange, the blue, that's how we rebuild the structural integrity of purpose. That's what needs to happen in your business. All right? Because when you do that, now people can reach their highest growth potential. First checkpoint, purpose development is the frontline defense against the meaning crisis that occurs in checkpoint 1. See, we understood that all of our research participants, they were in a meaning crisis in checkpoint 1. All right. So a frontline defense is needed. And even in your business, you got to have a frontline defense. What's your frontline defense against the meaning crisis? Because every person that you're going to recruit, they're going to come into your business with a meaning crisis. So you need a frontline defense there. Number 2, purpose development is the only solution for reversing the effects of PDD. All right. Purpose development is the solution for that, not personal development. Checkpoint 3, purpose development provides the blueprint for cracking the master purpose code. Not personal development, but purpose development. There's a difference. Well, how do we know that? Because we have the skill set on rebuilding the structural integrity of purpose. What is structural integrity anyway? It's when something, the purpose of something can withstand stress under normal and abnormal circumstances. People are going to have stress from the human experience. Can they withstand that stress, and stay in the business, under abnormal circumstances? It's easy to stay in the business when things are great, but when things are not great, can they stay in the business? That's the reason why you need to crack that master purpose code. Purpose development reveals the 2 systems of the soul that are responsible for sustaining meaningful excellence in the human experience. So here's the deal. It's not what happens at the big event that's going to, the big events are great. Don't get me wrong. I've been to a lot of big events. They're great. Okay. But it's what happens outside the big event that determines your success. Meaningful excellence is the thing that's needed outside the big event. You won't need that in the big event. We need meaningful excellence outside the big event. All right. But there are 2 systems that controls that, so those systems are offline. When you bring on a new recruit, I don't care if they're a stud or a dud, those systems are offline. And it's your job as a leader to bring those systems back online. We know how to do that here at the Purpose Development Institute. We know how to do that. Our coaches are trained. We're trained experts in doing that, to bring those systems back online. That's the reason why you need to either become a certified purpose development coach or you need to hire a certified purpose development coach, not a life coach, not a John Maxwell coach or another business coach, a certified purpose development coach, that's able to help you bring those systems back online. All right. So important thought for network marketers. A person's degree of success in the future is dependent on the the degree of purpose in the present. If you want to help people in your business, all right, help them restore the degree of purpose in the moment. I know we say help them get that first check. Yep, that's great. It's going to boost their confidence. But how many people got the first check and still quit? All right. You got to increase their degree of purpose for the moment. You got to have the right model. And the model that we've had in personal development, the model is inefficient. We need a more efficient model, to help people understand how to increase their degree of purpose for the moment and increase their degree of success in the future. That's the reason why every organization, you're part of an organization, take this video webinar to your leader. Tell your leader to watch this. All right. Tell your leader to watch this. If you are that leader, all right, you need to watch this. All right. By now you have watched it. But you need to hire a purpose development coach, or you need to become one. If you are a leader, you need to become one, because otherwise you don't know how to close the gap. You don't know how to reverse the effects of PDD. You don't know how to be that frontline defense against the meaning crisis. You don't understand how to crack the master purpose code. You don't understand how to sustain a strong sense of purpose over all circumstances. You don't understand how to get those systems back online. People are struggling with that. All right. That's the reason why you need this training. You need this training so that now you can keep more people in your business instead of losing more people, on this treadmill of losing people, hemorrhaging people. Stop hemorrhaging people and come over here and develop the skill set on how to close the gap. Close the gap. You're going to close the hemorrhaging in your business. I'm going to say it again. Close the gap, and you're going to close the hemorrhaging in your business. All right? So here's what I need you to do. Let us integrate that model into your organization. Train with us. Come on over here. Train with us. Go to www.pdiatl.com/events. All right. Train with us and let us show you how to close the gap, to close the personal growth gap, so that you can get rid of that old model that's destroying your business and work with a new model. Integrate a better model into your business that's going to allow you to work smart and not hard. Hey, listen, Donald Jenkins, your Master Purpose Development Coach. I look forward to working with you and your team. God bless you.